Well, here we go again. This video is going to be titled Power in the Blood. Many times we hear people preach about the power in the blood, and sometimes we sing praises about this power. But do we even understand what the power is and why the blood is so important? Let me just show you one side, a little bit of information that might help in this journey of understanding. Let's first start with a quick biology lesson. Our bodies must have blood, oxygen, water, and electromagnetic energy in order to have physical life. Of course, these are all connected, especially since they're in each other. You could even break it down even further because our blood is composed of water, which is composed of oxygen. And of course, all of these are connected with the electromagnetic energy that all things that are alive, whether plant or animal, must have in it in order to live. All things on this planet is composed of electromagnetic energy to some degree. All right. Now let's get to the spiritual aspect of this lesson. When Yeshua was born, being the Son of Man, his body also needed these elements to survive, but there was one key difference. Though he was born with the Holy Spirit already in him, being in the human form, he was not fully filled with this Spirit until his baptism, at which time his ministry began. Where we make our mistake is in how we explain Yeshua as the Father come down to the level of man. Well, this isn't the case, but instead the opposite is true. All the men of the Father in the Bible have the Spirit of the Father dwell in them, bringing the Father to man. But with the Messiah, this changed. Yeshua was the first man that the Spirit dwelt within. He then showed us how he was filled with this Spirit to the point he wasn't a weakened Elohim, but instead a strengthened man. This also gives us a guide to become productive children of the Father. Being the only man ever to have this level of the Father in him, his body had unique qualities. On a side note, starting with Adam, Elohim, our Creator, desired to dwell in man to become more part of him. But because his refusal to follow the Father, as instructed, this was impossible. This indwelling wasn't possible until Elohim paid the price himself for our rebellion, but for only those who would accept the new life offered. Now to the question on your mind, what was one of the unique qualities in the body of the Messiah that I spoke of? Yeshua was so much inhabited by the Holy Spirit that it actually changed the makeup of the water in his body to make it spiritually charged. Now, like I said, all things alive have electromagnetic energy in it, but the amount of energy is different depending on the amount of the Spirit of the Father residing in that body. All right. In John 4, verse 14, it says, "But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life." I think that the water that it's speaking of is an energy force. Water brings life. the everlasting water does. The energy flow to the degree that it was something unique. You got to understand, when God's people was created, they had this energy to a higher degree than they did later. That is why they lived longer. But at the destruction with the flood, this energy level was depleted, causing them to live a lesser amount of years. That is why whenever He returns and gives us an everlasting body, we will live forever, because we will have a fullness of this energy. Yeah, we can't even comprehend what this means, but that's what it's going to happen. Um, Yeshua speaks of the physical water in His body that will be shed for us, and if we accept this, we will receive the spiritual water to share with the world. Water brings us physical life. His living water, His energy, the physical Holy Spirit, brings us spiritual life. This is what makes the water and blood flowing out of His side so significant. All others who were crucified had their legs broken, but not the Messiah, because His speared side allowed His living water to flow. On the other hand, we must never forget that without His self-sacrifice for us, this would never have been even possible. The Messiah did the hard part. All we have to do is follow His love. Thank you for watching this. Hope this helped in some way. See you next time.